Unmute the mic. Good to go?
I am.
Alrighty, we are live. Welcome, Internet. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome back, guys, girls, folks.
If you're not yet, make sure to follow us on YouTube and Twitch. And we are actually going to be, not streaming, but we will be having this episode on Spotify and maybe Apple Podcasts soon. So we'll post links for those. But make sure to follow us on all our different platforms.
Yes, absolutely. And on that same note, the amount of likes we're getting, huge thank you to you guys. We're about to hit the 2,000 like mark, and we couldn't be more thankful. It's accelerated faster than I even expected. So big shout out to you guys. It's all because of you. I really appreciate the support. And yeah, keep coming with the love because we want to keep this momentum going. We want to keep bringing you that content. So we value that very much. So yeah, here we are back again. We got some topics to talk about. Hopefully you guys can join the conversation and throw some questions at us, and we can have some thought-provoking topics here to talk about because there's definitely a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I'm trying to find this post so I can share it real quick.
oh yeah, no problem. Do your thing, man.
Already done.
And so yeah, you know where to find us. Danny just plugged our platform, so subscribe to all the channels and stick with us. We're here Wednesdays at 7, Saturdays at 7 Pacific time as well. So yeah, I know that some of you are in different areas of the world, so do your best. If you missed the episode, we'll post links to the videos so that you can watch it afterwards as well. So
yeah.
But yeah, we got some things to talk about, man.
Yeah, let's talk about the riots and George Floyd.
That seems to be the most relevant topic right now, I think.
Even as I was trying to find the chat for our Facebook video that we're streaming right now.
Yeah.
Is this videos of live protests and riots
crazy,
and stuff.
man?
Yeah, it's just going on right now as
I
we're
know.
doing the podcast. So
that is insane to me.
shit is going crazy. I seen some videos in Seattle even.
Mm-hmm. Just all across the world.
Yeah, I was watching them on Snapchat actually because Snapchat has like a map and you can view snaps from different.
Oh,
parts of the
really?
map. Yeah. So
That's
I just clicked on
interesting.
Seattle and it was just showing
That's wild.
shit that people were just posting
Fires,
on Snapchat.
police getting beat up, and people getting beat up, and all kinds of crazy
Yeah, I've
shit.
seen a
going
lot
on.
of people getting like kind of manhandled by the police. So.
Yeah, I seen one where police was getting manhandled.
Yeah, I believe it. So, definitely.
So yeah, it's kind of just no mercy for everybody out there right now.
Yeah.
The thing about protests too is like it probably started out with noble intentions, but then you get the bad seeds that are just getting in the mix and doing their own, they have their own agenda, like looting, things of that. Like, why the looting? Where are we going with this, people?
Yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to get to that is I think both sides are fucking up, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
So the protesters looting and destroying property is kind of undermining what they're trying to accomplish, I think. And then also...
Justice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the cops are obviously just fucking up I'm sure it's not regular police, it's like riot police and SWAT and shit, but they're not making the situation any better either, so both sides are really dropping the ball on this one.
Yeah, so the question is, are protests doing more harm than good? That's really the big question.
I don't know. I think it's bringing light to... The problem is that we've been having this issue for like this whole entire decade, basically, now.
Turn that off for that.
I mean...
I didn't know we...
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't even... it's been a problem for eternity, but particularly in this decade, having the police brutality really being a public thing that people are protesting, at least, maybe not the whole decade, but at least the last 5 years. And I think it needs to be brought up. I don't know if there's a better way to do it, because...
There's gotta be.
There's
just gotta be.
The problem is, like, right now, so even when people are peacefully protesting, the cops are abusing their power, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Both sides are fumbling because they're not even allowing them to peacefully protest. So they're like, fuck it, let's just riot,
Yeah, so, I mean, it seems as though it is... Okay, so it's in the big scheme of it all, it's doing more harm than good. I personally think, but I get the point. I get the agenda there is to try to, make it a point that what has happened to this man George Floyd is just unacceptable and just downright sad.
Yeah.
And so we get that. I just wonder if that, I'm just trying to think back on history, and I hope someone can provide some information on this, but I ask myself, has there ever been a protest that has changed the decision maker's mind of anything? I can't think of it off the top of my head, so I really hope someone can chime in with this and give an example.
I don't know if any particular protest, but I know that, I think the protests have overall all changed sometimes,
Do you think they have an impact, though, on the person who has the decision-making power?
Maybe not. It depends on the type of protest. If it's a violent protest, then you're kind of undermining yourself, like I was saying.
Yeah.
If you're doing a peaceful protest, you're doing it intelligently, then I think it can help. I think if you're going to go to violence, you might as well just try to do a revolution, because that's the only way you're going to get them to change what they're doing. It's,
get a movement going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because this is just unorganized crime, really.
Some of it, yeah.
Organized / unorganized crime, because it's winging it. This field is winging it. There's no structure to it, and there's no order to it.
Yeah, I just realized we have
got a window portal going on there. Yeah, sorry to trip you guys out with the vision.
I don't even know what to put on here, honestly, because we usually have the lo-fi thing going on.
The logo, maybe?
Yeah.
There you go.
Actually, this is here. Let me pause that. All right, we'll just put that up. Whatever.
But yeah, back to what we were saying. Again, I can't think of a scenario where a mass protest has ever, led to a decision maker that's sitting there like, you know what, maybe I should, consider changing my decision. This protest is getting me thinking. Because ultimately it usually comes down to one person that's making the decisions. In some case there'll be a board involved, but really in most cases it comes down to one single guy that has the power, or woman that has the power, a person in position of power.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to accomplish right now. If you're just trying to bring light to police brutality and systemic racism, then I think you don't need to riot for it.
I agree, and I think that is the message. They just want to make a point that the racism isn't going to be tolerated anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
But what is the point if it's not going to be tolerated? More protests? Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, more protests is obviously not solving. I mean, there's probably people getting hurt in them protests. People who are protesting are also getting hurt and probably fighting amongst each other as well. I mean, again, you get the bad seeds in the mix who are they got their own agenda and they're doing something different, like looting, whatever, abusing other people. There's going to be more harm, I think, out of it. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the message is getting out there is very clear, but
I know at least one person has died in the riots, so
that's a good example. Then
they're protesting someone dying unjustly, which perfectly justifiable to be upset about that.
Absolutely.
But I don't know if the overall outcome's gonna be that well. We got some feedback on this already. So Raya was saying the Boston Tea Party didn't change King George's mind, but it did help inspire enough people to make a revolution possible.
Okay.
So, was the Boston Tea... did people die in the Boston Tea Party, or was it it was like a peaceful... I haven't...
It's been way too long, man. I'd have to go back to my sophomore year to...
I bet you someone died. Someone had to have died in the Boston Tea Party.
Oh, probably. But
especially back then.
Yeah, and maybe that's another question we got to ask ourselves. Is that a sacrifice we have to make? The protest to get that statement out there, but some die in the process of it. Is that kind of just the casualties of war that need to happen to get the change we need?
I think some people are willing to be martyrs for a cause, so I guess that's
ready to sacrifice.
Yeah, I just kind of did a double, repeated the same thing. A martyr is someone who dies for a cause. So
yeah, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, but I hate to see people just dying and getting hurt for any reason. Even if there's I mean, obviously, it's different if you're trying to sacrifice yourself for, someone you love or something. That's kind of like, that's almost a no-brainer. Like if someone was going to harm my daughter, or if someone gave me the choice, like you die or your daughter die, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But for a cause, we're kind of talking about a different situation here now.
It just depends on how hard you believe in the movement.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a weird, like, the state of the world right now is so crazy. You got these riots going on during a pandemic.
Yeah, and now that's not even the biggest topic right now.
It's not, but...
And now we're also subjected to possibly spreading it more in those protests. Exactly. I mean, we're kind of defeating the purpose now. So that, exactly, and that goes back to the question, are we doing more harm than good now, especially with the pandemic going on?
I don't know. We probably won't know until after the fact. It's hard to know in the middle if it's worthwhile or not. I think
there's so many variables.
The reason behind the riots and the reason behind the outrage is perfectly justifiable, like I was saying. But I don't know if it's the best course of action. I also don't know if there's another course of action. I mean, I'm not an expert here.
Okay, so I don't think it's best course of action, because to make a statement, you don't need to do what they're doing in this day and age where you can touch millions of people with a post online. That might be the better way to go.
Maybe
it's the safer way. We can agree on that.
It's definitely safer.
So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I feel like out of those two options, maybe that's the safest and best, because you're still going to get your message across.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I mean, post some videos of some things to back up your statement. I don't know. I just wish there was another way besides what's going on right now.
Yeah. I don't know. That's pretty wild. Obviously, what happened to George Floyd was fucking awful.
Yeah. What was your first thought when you heard about it or seen the video about it?
Dude, when I seen the video, I was just upset, like everyone else, I think.
Yeah.
I understand if you're trying to restrain someone who is resisting, but he wasn't resisting.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I didn't see resisting. Yeah.
He might have been initially resisting, but by the time that you were kneeling on his neck, which you don't need to kneel on someone's fucking neck. You kneel on their back, sure. You don't need to kneel on their fucking neck or their head or anything like that.
Excessive force was
excessive force and just using your power just because you have a fucking small dick or something. Like, fuck you, honestly. Yeah. Fuck yourself. Anyway.
Which that's another topic we'll get into here in a second. People in a position of power.
Yeah, and the thing was, he was kneeling on the dude's neck, and then they were taunting him, like telling him, get up and get in the car, and he's like, I will, but they wouldn't let him up. So, and now, like the coroner, they did the autopsy and said that he didn't die from suffocation, but he died because maybe it was like something with his heart, or, because he was on drugs, maybe like those things together. But honestly, if you weren't kneeling, even if that is the case, if you weren't kneeling on his fucking neck and making him panic, he probably wouldn't have a fucking heart attack in that situation. Oh. So you're still guilty, even if he's not guilty of like first degree murder, you still contributed to someone dying, even unintentionally. So that's still that's like manslaughter, right? So it's like at least like 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't just let him get away with it.
It's a contributing factor, of course.
And then obviously the other cop just standing there and not stopping the other cop. That's another problem. People in these positions of power, when someone is abusing their power, they just sit there and watch it happen and they don't do anything about it. And it's just cowardly.
Yeah. And to talk about those guys that are standing I honestly don't know how I feel about those individuals, because I can see them being scared. Obviously, they probably knew that was the wrong thing to do and that they wanted to help maybe, but I don't know. Intimidation's a motherfucker as well.
No, I'm not talking about the people saying that. I'm talking about the other cop.
The other officers, yeah. No, I'm talking about them too. Oh, okay. So what I'm saying is intimidation's a motherfucker. It's the same way as... it's the same. You've heard people like in the court of law being on the stand, right? And they ask that question, is anybody forcing you to make this statement or is that? It's kind of along those lines, where there's this silent intimidation. Like, you just fall in line or you're going to have problems. So
I don't know.
I don't agree with them not stepping up. But I do see that if they didn't step up, it's probably because they were intimidated of some sort, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Scared.
Honestly, if I seen someone doing that to another person and I was working with that person, I'd be like, get the fuck off, dude.
Oh, I would too.
Like, there's no
most
reason
of
for you
us
to sit
don't
there.
have a backbone, though.
Yeah, I guess. I don't even have. I'm kind of a coward, but I get really fucking angry at injustice. So that shit pisses me off. And then for some reason, it gives me a pair of balls every once in a while. I'm like, I gotta fucking do something about this because it just pisses me off that fucking much.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's sad, man. When I seen it, it's very sad, and then I get really irritated to see the demeanor of the officer that's on him with his knee on his neck. That just really upsets me anytime I see someone abusing their power like that.
Yeah, it's just unnecessary force.
Absolutely, it's very unnecessary, and it always makes me question people like that in a position of power, what their mentality is and what their agenda really is. Cops, judges, politicians, city inspectors, anybody who's in a position of power, they really puff out their chest and start peacocking a little bit, and it makes you wonder. It's like, why'd you really get this job? Why did you really take this job?
Honestly, that's why I'm not interested in a lot of those positions, because the most attractive things to those positions for me is power, and it's not doing the right thing,
Yeah.
And I just know that would be a toxic job for me to have, and I think that's why not all of them, obviously, but I think a significant portion of them go into those positions because they want power. Humans naturally kind of want power, especially males. Males definitely want power. So to get this job that will give you power is enticing, I'm sure. You know what I mean?
An ego booster, and it can easily be used for evil. Exactly.
Yeah. It's probably easier to use it for evil than it is for good, honestly, because it's the temptation to just abuse.
Yeah.
And you're in the position of power, so there's not very higher positions that can, do something about it.
You're probably being encouraged to abuse the power as well. It's probably just the going thing when you're in that net. You know what I mean? The other officers, it's like, yeah, that's just the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know for sure. I've never really been in that type of community position of power. So,
yeah.
But it does make me suspicious on the mindset of why people take those type of positions, like, and what their real agenda is.
No, I'm sure, there's plenty of good police officers and judges and stuff, you know what I mean? But I don't know what percentage of them there are, but, there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. It's not 100% of cops are bad, 100% of cops are good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all individuals, so they all have their different ticks and reasons and motivations and morals, so
that cop, he got charged with third-degree murder right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't mean he's going to get convicted, but he is getting charged with third-degree murder, and then they're looking to charge the other officers that were there as well with something. I don't know what, but
accessory or something. I don't
know.
Fucking, I don't even
as
know.
They should, because anytime someone, a civilian gets in trouble, and if there's an accomplice, they get in trouble just the same. So it should be no different when cops get in trouble.
Yeah. Especially
when cops get in trouble, they're there to protect and serve, supposedly.
Yeah. So even if, exactly, you're there to protect people. So if another officer is harming someone, it's still your job to protect them from that officer.
I agree.
So
it's no different. And so they shouldn't be the exception of that at all. So yeah, I was happy to hear he got charged with it. I hope he does get convicted, because that would be justice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to be honest, I don't think the protests did anything to get the charges. I think that was going to happen no matter what. I seen that it was like a district attorney of Minnesota or wherever that happened. Mm-hmm. She made a statement that was a top priority, was investigating that case. You know what I mean? So I don't know what much more people could do to influence that.
Yeah, I'm not.
But apparently, a lot of them thought protesting would influence more. I don't know, more justice.
Yeah. Like we were saying, maybe they're just not thinking it all the way through, and just they're outraged and they're just showing their emotion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not. I mean, I'm sure some of them are thinking of it in a logical point, like if we protest, we can create a revolution. But I'm sure some of them are just like outraged and they're just kind of doing what everyone else is doing.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Because people in groups act differently than they do as individuals. So.
What's interesting is, let's talk about the tough part of that conversation. That's, to me, it's racism.
Right. Okay. So it's good that you segued into that because
let's
I had a friend that posted something on Facebook that I disagreed with, and he was saying something along the lines of, I don't want to misquote him, but I'm also not quoting his name, so I guess it doesn't matter. But it's something along the lines of, how can all cops be racist? Because there's different races that are cops, and there's different, you know what I mean? And the problem is with that kind of argument.
Wait, what was his statement?
Man. Let me just look
it up.
I don't want to misquote this because I want you to understand why.
Yeah, I want to understand
why I disagreed with it. So
that would make more sense. Yeah. The question is, I'll ask the hard question because I always like asking the hard questions. But is this a crime against humanity or is this a crime against racism? Is this a racist crime? Is it both? Is it more one?
George Floyd.
Yeah.
Okay.
This incident.
I'll answer that in a second. Okay, so he said, questions I'd like to hear the answer to. How can a group be considered racist if said group is biracial? How does white privilege exist in treatment from police officers when there are officers from all race, ethnicity in the force? Does a black man see a white man carrying a gun and give him white privilege, but then see a black man carrying a gun and think differently solely because white privilege, in quotation? And then explain to me how people put all cops into a category of racist. Individuals can be racist and individuals can give privilege to specific races, but why does it have to involve everyone else? And so I think it's like kind of answering a blanket statement with another kind of almost blanket statement. Yeah, it's both ideas, the one that he's arguing against, and his counter argument are both too vague in general, I think.
Yeah, you're right. There's not, because it's almost like he might have a good point, but he's also wrong at the same time. He's not very clear.
Brings up some solid questions. I just don't disagree. Or
solid questions is a better.
Yeah, they're fine questions. I just don't agree with his assessment of it. So yes, there is more than one race in the police force, obviously, but.
And yes, there's also racists in any category.
But most of the U.S. is white. White is the most dominant race.
Yeah. Or
ethnicity, whatever you want to call it, in the United States. And I'm sure that is true for cops as well. I think
Probably. I don't know, though.
Percentage-wise, I'm sure most cops are white. Not most cops. But you know what I mean? Like, if it's like 35% whites and then like, you know, I don't know, what 20% Hispanic, you know, it probably breaks down into smaller percentages for all the other races.
You think it's white dominant, huh?
Yeah.
I'd be interested to look into that now.
I don't want to like just bring things out of my ass, but I think that's probably true.
Yeah. You could be right.
But the problem right here is systemic racism and basically how the system is designed against black people. It doesn't matter if black people are part of the system, as the system is designed against black people because more black people are arrested, more black people face violence by police, and just you can look at the statistics on those are true.
Yeah.
So regardless if there's more than one race in the police force, there's still systemic racism, and there's police brutality towards people of color, not even just black people, but people of color more than there is towards white people. So there is white privilege, regardless if
according to statistics.
Yeah,
there's white privilege.
Yeah, definitely, and it doesn't matter if there's individuals because, like every generalization, there will be people that are exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, of course.
Systemically, yes, black people are oppressed more than white people. Yes, there are cops that will be nice to black people. It doesn't mean that all cops are fucking dickheads to black people or Hispanics or Asians or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but if statistically that number is showing that means then more often than not they're being oppressed. So
yeah. No, I definitely think, and I'm all about statistics and facts and science as well. I can definitely get behind that and be on board with that. I just like asking tough questions too, you know, because it is a tough question because I don't want. I'm afraid that the humanity. Okay, here's a bigger question: Is focusing so hard on the statistics keeping racism alive? Or is it going to ever get us to closer to equality?
I don't think it's keeping it alive. I think that it's actually making it better because
Okay.
it's easy, especially for someone like me growing up. We are based in Washington State, which is a very liberal place. And also, on top of being liberal, there's actually not a lot of black people in the area. So most people we know are fine. We're not like super racist or anything. Most people we know are cool with black people and Hispanics and whatever. But there's also not a lot of black people around us. So even if there were, like, we just don't see racism around here. So it's easy to get disconnected and people will be like, oh, there's racism. You know what I mean? Like, but is there? Because,
Well, especially if you've only lived here.
yeah, we're in our own little world up here. And so the statistics help because you can see how it is across the whole country.
Yeah.
Opposed to our little, area up here, which is completely different, honestly. I mean, in each little, each state or little region is going to be different in how that plays out. I'm sure in California, black people have a lot harder than they do in Washington, And if
Yeah.
you're like in the South, I'm sure it's awful in the South. I don't know, but I'm sure it's awful. You're living in the South as a black person, like you're in Georgia or something. I'm sure that isn't good.
I would be is Milo and Edgar commenting on this conversation?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Let's address some of these. I want to address Edgar and
We
people.
actually have a lot of. Okay.
Let's address these people. We're getting.
Okay.
I want them to be part of this conversation. I want to know other people's opinions on this.
So, Grandma Linda said hi. So hi.
Hi, Mom.
How's it going?
Hey, Milo.
And then
Hey, Snakes.
Jake said protests where
Schrager.
people are protests where people are using an atrocity as an excuse to raid the streets and burst windows of businesses unrelated to the incident which sparked the protest in the first place are absurd. If you watch videos, people are having fun acting like this. It's a shame because it seems to have very little to do with the loss of that innocent man. It's a solid point.
And that's kind of what I was saying. You get the bad seeds that are taking advantage of this situation and they have their own agenda implemented now and they're just exploiting it, looting, killing people, and there's probably all kinds of crimes being committed that we haven't even seen or heard about yet. So I kind of agree on that. I agree on that. I agree that there's a statement being made, and I also agree that this is doing a lot of harm.
One thing I have to say is, can you guys confirm or deny us? Is the stream
Lagging?
Yeah, is it lagging?
Yeah, let us know if this stream is lagging, because today we had a thunderstorm and systems have been acting a little funny, so give us some feedback on that as well if things are looking a little weird.
Oh, we also didn't start recording this either, which is very...
That's sad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we actually don't even need that. I can just rip it from the internet. Let's see what's going on here. I want to go to I want to look at my phone and see if I can see if it's lagging on here real quick. What were we getting on about though?
So go to another question. I think.
Okay, so Milo said, "I really doubt that if this protest riot didn't happen, that the cop would have been arrested." And I don't know if that's true. I think enough people were sparking outrage on the internet that I think it was.
That's what I was trying to say. I think there's I don't know the answer to this. I think there's a better way to get the message across. And in a day and age where, we can see that everybody's talking about this. So we could easily make that statement that some justice needs to happen regarding his George Floyd's death and the cops, serving justice on that man's death. I think it definitely brought light to it more. I don't know if that's the right way to go. I think there's got to be a more efficient way. It has to. That's not going to involve people getting hurt and other people taking advantage of the situation and exploiting it.
Okay, so the video is lagging, so I don't know what to do about this. Let's see, what does it say on here?
That's interesting.
Drop frames. So yeah, we're dropping frames. I wonder if it's because of the storm.
It could be.
I wonder if I change the settings and start and stop this real quick, if that'd be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I noticed when the thunderstorms were happening this morning, everything shut off for a little bit. The Wi-Fi got disconnected, and so
yeah,
could be part of what's going on. But yeah, we do appreciate the feedback, letting us know that if things are lagging or audio's clipping or something's going on, so that we can adjust.
Yeah, it's really a bummer. This is the first time this happened, I think, though. So
Yeah, I hope so.
all the other streams are fine. So we watched them back. I don't know. It must be the storm, I'm assuming. The frames are fine. Everything else is fine. It must just be the internet right now.
Well, we might have to just deal with it. I don't know if it's going to record that way, so we won't know until
Well, we're not recording it. It's the problem. So the stream is
the stream is going to be...
gonna be how it is.
Should probably record it just in case. We can at least clip it.
You at least get part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's a bummer. Yeah, I don't know if there's much we can do about it.
Well, we're gonna have to work through it on this one. Like I said, today was a wild day. You know how how the Pacific Northwest is. We get 2 days of 80-degree weather, and then the next day's rain and thunderstorms. That's just kind of how it goes around here. And then it'll be sunny tomorrow, maybe, and then we'll probably get rain again the next day. So
yeah, maybe I'll also look into finding a platform where we can just live stream audio. That way, if the video is ever lagging, we can just tell people to go to the audio.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Or I guess people are still watching it with the video lagging, so I guess it's not the end of the world. But
Right on. Go up to, I think Schreger had a...
oh, right. Edgar said, the point is to show the police we aren't going to back down. We won't be controlled by a violent, out-of-control gang. Which is, it's fun.
Yeah, no, we get it. The statement has been made, my friend. We get it. Edgar's up, and I think he was
there
in that protest, weren't you? Yeah.
I think wasn't he saying he was kind of he wasn't partaking in the violent parts of it, but he was just kind of observing.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that. I think that's what I read him saying, though. But then he was still seeing like violence by the police and stuff. So
yeah. And again, I totally agree with what you're saying, Edgar. I got that question again. Like, is there another way to get that statement besides going onto the streets and just causing that much havoc? I don't know. It seems like there's more harm being done. And again, there's a lot that I don't know to this. It's just the stuff I'm seeing on videos and what I'm hearing. But it definitely seems violent and fighting. It seems like we're battling violence with violence, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so
fight fire with fire.
We're fighting fire with fire. Yeah. I just don't know, man, if that's the answer. I get it though. The statement needs to be made. Let's just I wish there was a way to do it better, safer.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. What else we got? Perkins. What's up, Perkins?
Yeah, he was just saying it's lagging.
Oh, he's saying it's lagging. Okay.
Everyone's saying the audio's fine though, so
that's good. That's really what matters. If you can hear us loud and clear, that's really nice.
Yeah, and if you guys didn't catch it, if you guys weren't here at the beginning of the podcast, we're going to be putting our podcast on Spotify and stuff now. So as long as the audio's fine, I mean, obviously we don't want the video to be lagging, but as long as the audio's fine, it should be good on those platforms still.
At the very least, yeah.
Yeah.
Which apparently is the true form of podcasting, we found out. So
yeah, we went the backwards way about it. We started with it's basically like a video podcast, a live stream video podcast, and now we're going back and doing like an audio podcast, which we probably should have done it the opposite way around. But
going back to the podcast roots.
Yeah, I kind of like the route we took, honestly.
Oh, me too. Everybody wants to see rather than see and also get the audio. So I absolutely like the way we started with it too.
Yeah. And
apparently, the people have answered. They like it too. I mean, we got 2,000 likes in less than 2 weeks. So
yeah,
that's pretty damn good, in my opinion. It's more likes than I've ever anticipated. And again, thanks again. I can't tell you guys enough. Thanks again. Keep it coming. And like I said, we'll have conversations like this a lot.
Absolutely.
Because I love talking about these things. Love asking the hard questions. Yeah, that video I seen, that officer was just getting beat down. Well, he was like holding this one guy, and tons of people were just beating him left and right until he finally let go of this one guy.
Damn.
And I was like, holy shit. I was like, what is going on right there? And of course, I didn't see what led up to that. It just kind of cut scene right into that.
I'm not going to lie. I think there is merit to say it might be pretty fucking scary to be an officer in the middle of a riot. You know what I mean?
Oh, fuck, yeah.
I'm sure some of them were like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm sure some of them are like, I don't know what the fuck I signed up for. This is fucking nuts, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, I just wanted to go stop traffic. You know what I mean? Why the fuck am I here?
What have I got myself into? I didn't sign up for this. They're being encouraged to. Like, come on, man. We're all going. You gotta come.
Yeah. Grab your baton and just beat some people. Let's go.
Come on, brother. You with us? They're just encouraging him, trying to build him up.
The fucking... God, like that bro gang mentality.
It's like the military, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hoorah.
Fuck.
Oh, man. Again, position of power. I forgot to bring those guys up, the military.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, I think, let's see, I got a few other topics. We don't want to burn this whole podcast up with the George Floyd thing, but we did want to touch base on it. It's tragic what happened to the man. It's tragic what's going on right now with the protests, and I just wish things would go in a safer direction. I hope there's better answers than what's going on right now, because something definitely needs to be, a statement needs to be made, but I think it has. I think it very well has been made.
Yeah.
So maybe the time is now to stop the protests. I don't know.
Who knows? So what do you got?
So I got a few things, man. I got, shit. We can talk about, human design. What I mean by that, this is an interesting topic. This is more of what I like to call my tree hugger mentality topic. Because I don't think, what I mean by human design is, it's a shame. Okay, so I live my life, personally using my life as an example, and I want to get your thoughts on this as well and kind of where you're at with this. I think we've kind of talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
We kind of saved it for the podcast, which is good. But what I mean by human design and what we're meant to do by that, what I mean by that is, so there's currency in place, right? Where the normal person has to chase currency. We have to use that currency to pay for living means, shelter, food, things of that nature. And I understand it's, for the most part, I think necessary. I don't know if my brain's just conditioned that way, to think that way or not, but it's definitely been established that now currency is needed. And I don't know if there's a way to do away with it. But the tree hugger side of me, my mentality part, very well knows that we're just not designed to do that. We're really not cut out to chase currency. We should be enjoying life. A lot of our, thinking and a lot of our problem solving should be focused on living and enjoying life and just, farming, maybe socializing. But we live in a world where we have to chase that currency, and it creates a lot of problems, and so it creates stress, and it's probably the root of a lot of mental problems and mental disorders. I don't know the facts on this. This is complete speculation and my observation and what I think and how I feel about it. So obviously I'm on the end of chasing currency, as we all are, and I've definitely went deep on that because my mentality on that is like, I feel like we're designed to enjoy life and not have to chase currency. But since I have been put into the position to chase currency, and I very well know that is the only thing that's going to get me freedom, more freedom, and the things I want to attain that freedom, I've really doubled down on that. And I've really obsessed myself with trying to get in a position to have cash flow in some regard. And that's unfortunate. When I think about that too much, it's kind of depressing, but I've accepted it, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
It sucks to think that I have accepted it, but I live in a world where currency has been made and you have to chase it. What are your thoughts on that, though? And do you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
It's kind of multi-layered there, so it
is really multi-layered, and I'm probably gonna bring up the college thing just to kind of relate it.
Yeah.
Especially because, we are kind of designed to be more expressive and kind of, I don't know, just be more family oriented and kind of small
Yeah.
group oriented and just enjoying the small things in life. And a lot of those things we have to push to the side because we're just focusing on what can make us the most money or what can make us the most successful.
Yeah.
And a lot of people give up on their dreams because it's either a risk or it's not going to make them that much money.
Yeah, exactly.
Like being a musician, or like personally for me, being very interested in art and performing and entertainment and stuff like that. But those fields always being kind of ridiculed, you know, like
Yeah,
if you go to college for art, people laugh at you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They'll mock you for doing that.
because they don't think that. Well, because probably just in odds. I don't know if this is true, but they don't end up being successful. Maybe.
Yeah, well, it's less likely.
Yeah.
But I mean that kind of mentality has definitely caused me, for instance, to go to school for science, which I'm interested in science, but I'm not exactly passionate about science.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like I am interested in science, and science kind of comes naturally for me. But I'm not passionate about it. And it's interesting is I've realized that during this pandemic is going to college for science isn't fucking fun from home. It's not.
Yeah.
So,
I can see that.
maybe I can get onto my rant a little bit here, but I'll try to stay on topic a little bit. So now, because I guess I can't really do it without the rant. Okay.
Yeah, rant it up, man.
So fucking online college, I'm just gonna say, is kind of bullshit. And not all my classes are bullshit, but it's just the teachers are just being, in my experience, are just being lazy right now with how they're teaching their curriculum online.
Yeah.
For instance, one of my teachers, so I have to learn pre-calculus to be a scientist, right? So I'm in this fucking pre-calculus class, and it's so hard because my teacher just gives us YouTube videos on how to do things and doesn't actually like video lecture us, or like we don't have Q&As, we don't have like Zoom lessons or anything like that. And it's just like, I didn't fucking sign up for college to learn how to do calculus at home. Okay? So I'm just, if you're a college teacher and you're fucking giving your students
Yeah, if you
YouTube
had something
videos,
to tell them, college teachers, right now, if they were listening, what would that be?
that's a fucking trash way to teach. That's all I gotta fucking say. It's fucking garbage. It's really discouraging. Just be like, you know, if I could fucking learn calculus at home, I wouldn't have fucking signed up for college, okay?
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. So I'm just kind of pissed off about that. So anyways,
Definitely takes the class setting out of it, huh?
yeah. So to end that rant, I realized that I should probably choose something that I actually enjoy doing, opposed to something, because like, for instance, doing math and stuff isn't really that enjoyable, and I can only learn it if I have someone kind of supervising me, you know, showing me how to do everything, and even then it's still kind of a chore to me, right?
Yeah.
So I realized that I should probably go with something I'm a little bit more passionate about, even if it makes me less money. So I don't know which field of arts I want to go into, but I'm just going to pursue that. And so yeah, I'm definitely just going to change my major to something in that area. But it goes with what you're saying is like, what are you designed to do?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, being a scientist, I can make a lot of money, and I am interested in it, but I'd probably get more happiness out of doing something that's design based and not human design. But I like design. For instance, like, if you guys didn't know, I made Ben's website for his company, and I'm making the website for this podcast, and I really like designing the websites, and I can do the programming, but the program is kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the hard work part of it.
It's not even really hard work. It's pretty easy for me. I just don't love doing it, where I actually like designing the website, like seeing the visual aspect and being able to like, isn't this a cool design? And people can give me feedback on that.
The real creative part of it.
Yeah, the creative part. And then, you know, if I show someone lines of code, they're like, I don't even know what that fucking is, but you know, it looks like you know what you're doing. And I'm like, I do.
Yeah.
Thanks for acknowledging that I'm just weird.
Just typing in a bunch of codes we don't understand. Yeah. No, I get it. And with that, you can be, I imagine you can see yourself being obsessed with that, the art part of it, right?
Yeah.
Rather than science.
Yeah. I was thinking, even if I worked in a program, like programming for a company, like if I was working for a company that made websites, for instance, and different people did different jobs, like one person programmed, and one person designed. Like if I was the designer, I'd probably love that job. I just sat around designing websites all day and making them look sleek and beautiful. That'd probably be much more pleasurable to me than like can you go crunch lines of code for 8 hours a day? I'd be like, fuck my life, man.
You'd hate that job.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's kind of like what we were talking about the other day, using myself as an example again. I was telling you how I really enjoy doing this podcast because, well, I just like having conversations. I like having thought-provoking conversations and conversations that actually have substance, that are relevant, conversations that people don't think about. The hard-hitting topics that people don't like to address. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
And there's a creative part about this whole process that I can get absorbed in. And it's weird because I have my business, which is a home improvement business. I can't get obsessed with that. I'm really good at it though, which is kind of like what you're talking about. You're really good at crunching the codes and doing that. But I don't enjoy it as much as I enjoy this. This is something I look forward to. I hardly ever look forward to doing projects, doing contracting, even though it brings me the revenue I'm looking for, but it's not fulfilling.
Yeah,
it's not enjoyable. So
exactly. And there's a lot of people that go into fields, even college students. Well, I guess college students in particular, they go into fields that are like they'll go into finance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's all for financial purposes.
Yeah,
for revenue.
Like, who's passionate about finance? I'm sure there's some people that are, but it's probably such a small portion of people.
It's very small, I bet.
The majority of people in finance probably fucking hate their job, but they're like, I make $200K a year. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
and it's really sad that that's the society we live in.
That 200K a year has allowed that individual to have freedom to do other things potentially. So in the long run, that is, the success leads to more freedom, but the process to go through to get there.
Yeah, that brings me on to another thing. I just want to fucking rant also about America for a moment. And not just America in
Land
general.
of the free.
Yeah, land of the free, land of the fucking bullshit, honestly. Okay, I was gonna say, so you're saying those people can work and then they can pursue their other shit outside of work.
Yeah.
But America has like the worst work schedule of any modern country.
Yeah.
It's like you work 40 hours a week. A lot of time you don't get fucking benefits unless you get, I mean, if someone in finance would get benefits.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? You don't get benefits. You get barely any sick time. You get barely any vacation. It's like all these European countries, they get like a month's vacation. They got like paternity leave. You know what I mean? It's like where the father can get months off just for having a baby, which you should.
Paid time off.
Yeah, paid time off to be with your baby when your baby is first born, which is like the most important time.
You'll never get that in the U.S.
Yeah, and it's
if there are people that do get that, chime in and let us know because I've never heard of it.
And there's some European countries that have done trials where they have people work 30 hours instead of 40 hours, and they've noticed that the productivity is basically the same.
Yeah.
It's because people are like more motivated to work hard when they're not dreading it all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're working 30 instead of 40 hours. They're like, hell yeah, you know what I mean? Let's go get this done, and then I get, my 4-day weekend or what the fuck, 3 or 4 day, whatever the fuck it is, 3-day weekend,
Yeah.
So, and that's more along what we're designed to do. You know what I mean? We're not designed to sit in a fucking office for 40 hours a week and then be like, go have your weekend. You know what I mean? But during on your weekend, you're like, it's not even long enough. By the time it comes back to Monday, you're like, fuck, dude. So I'm kind of lazy, but I can probably relate to this more than you because you're a fucking hard worker. But I mean, I'm sure
because I have to be.
Exactly, because you have to be. So it's not.
And that's the freedom I'm chasing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, my work ethic is strictly because I know that to be successful, when I'm successful, I'm gonna attain that freedom and I'm gonna have more options. Not the path I would want to choose if I had the option. It's just the position it's the game I've been forced to play. Yeah. And so if you tell me, hey, you got to play this game no matter what, I'm going to play it and I'm going to play very well. And so I'll step up to the plate. I hate that I'm in that position, but I will step up to the plate and show you that I'm one to step up if you're going to challenge me like that.
Yeah.
And the government has challenged me. Society has challenged me.
Yeah. I guess I'm just trying to find a creative way to kind of circumvent the system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Well, you're trying to be smart about it.
Yeah.
Let me know if you crack that code.
You're going both ways about it. So you're going with the hardworking thing, but then we also have this endeavor that we're doing right now, which is a creative endeavor, which this is exactly what I was just saying, like circumventing the system.
Yeah.
So we'll see if this pans out. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but it's a good experiment, and it's fun, and I enjoy doing it. So even if we don't make money on this, it's perfectly fine. But I would like to see if maybe we can get successful doing something on the internet that's not a traditional way to make money.
Yeah, well, this is the new way of making. I mean, digital and selling your intellect digitally in some form. That's the new way, man. It's just going that direction. It's a matter of time before the majority of business is being implemented that way, I think.
Yeah, most likely, especially because a lot of with the AI evolving and the machines and factories and stuff, like a lot of jobs are going to get automated.
Yeah,
and so you're gonna have to find different lines of work. Yeah, exactly.
You gotta create something that's new and novel, and not everybody's doing it. Well, everybody's doing a podcast, but you know what I mean. But really, not everybody is.
No,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Everybody is, but not everybody is. There's more people that are just working a regular 9-to-5 job.
Yeah,
and so when people say everybody has a podcast. Yeah,
a lot of people
have. I wouldn't say everybody. And furthermore, there's not a lot of podcasts that have meaningful topics or even stuff to watch. Yeah. I mean, there's just a lot of
half-assed podcasts out there.
A lot of half-assed podcasts. A lot of people doing shit that you wouldn't expect, and they're making a lot of money at it too. Some of them, So it's like, I mean, I would encourage them to keep doing it too if it's working for them. They have circumvented the system.
Yeah, we're definitely working on it. I'm really disappointed that the internet's lagging on our video today.
I know.
I don't know. So people that are watching right now, would it be better if we just change the video to the logo, or should we keep it on this glitchy video? Let us know what your thoughts are on that, because I don't know if it's worse to just watch us like doing strobe light bullshit dancing over here, so
you got the Facebook
yeah, it's right here.
Oh, okay,
Facebook. Got it. So I don't even think the video's playing anymore. See, because maybe it is, but see, the words are still going.
Yeah,
video's not moving at all.
It's just stopped. That's interesting.
So I don't know what's happening here.
I wouldn't put too much energy into it, man. I think a lot of it really has to do with the thunderstorms, because I noticed right in the morning Wi-Fi was so wonky.
Oh, okay.
Nothing was working.
It is what it is. At least the audio's fine. But I mean, it might be better off to that's what I was asking. Would it be better if we just put it on the fucking logo?
So yeah, just bear with us through this episode, guys. It's not. Let's hope not. It's not going to be like this every episode. But
I won't, because we've done 4 other episodes and none of them lagged, or if they did, it was like very small amounts. Oh, they moved. What do you know?
Nice. So yeah, we talked about what we're designed to do, and on a different note that kind of ties into that, holidays is one of the things I want to talk about, because when Memorial Day came up, I actually worked on that day, and it complicated my work schedule because I needed things from the store. They were closed, and I couldn't, take concrete to the quarry because they were closed, and so I wasn't able to finish this job because things were closed. Mm-hmm. And so I get irritated with holidays because I'm in that mentality where I have to be working as much as possible. Mm-hmm. So days off they're a setback to me. Just like, I don't know, I'm so busy that even eating and going to the bathroom becomes annoying because I have to stop, takes time, and I'm like, oh gosh, it's going to take an hour. And you know me, I cook, especially dinner. Oh my God, I got to spend at least an hour to whip up some food. Yeah. And it is just a nuisance to me because I have so much time that I should be filling with doing stuff that's productive. And so I get really irritated with the holidays. And then I guess I'm irritated because I'm in the mentality of work, work, work. I got to be successful. I'm put into this game I was just talking to you about. And everybody else is kind of looking for a day off already. So they're like, oh, thank God it's Memorial Day, or it's Friday. It's like, so I get irritated with that. I'm like, I don't know. Unless you're already successful, you should probably only be. I feel like that's the only way you should be that way. Unless you just you want to be average and mediocre and complacent, then I guess that makes sense that people are looking forward to them days off.
Yeah, I'm gonna hard disagree with you.
Yeah.
I also think that you're contradicting yourself. I think you're saying humans are designed to do this. Well, I'm gonna play the game, but then
I know it sounds weird, right?
Well, here's the thing: is you're like, I don't even enjoy going to the bathroom or eating, and it's like, I don't think you should go so hard in one direction to the point where you're losing the enjoyment, the things that you should be enjoying.
I don't either, but that's how hard I went in one direction.
Yeah, I think you should just back off like 5%. To be like, I'm going to enjoy this meal. I'm not going to hate the fact that I had to make a meal. Or like, be like, okay, it's a holiday. You know, you should be able to enjoy the fact, you know, because like humans aren't designed to work that hard. And so when the humans as a group are like, we're going to take this day off. I mean, I think that's a good thing because the system's already pushing people too fucking hard. And I think that those days are necessary. And that's my kind of counter argument.
I'm just
not for me because I fucking sit around doing nothing. But I'm saying for the people that are actually fucking working, yes, it is necessary. I think, and I understand
that was me, 6 years ago too.
And I also understand that you want to keep working, and it's fine to have that drive. But I don't think that you should be upset that everyone else wants the holiday.
No, I get irritated that I can't. Nothing's open, and so I guess I'm irritated that no one else wants to push themselves even more. Or also accept the fact that they're in this game. We're all in this game.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm irritated about, I guess.
I think you're kind of narrow-minded about it, though. Because you have a one thought process, right? I need to work really fucking hard and just drive to get what I want, right?
Yeah.
And so it's almost like, I'm just going to talk shit a little bit, okay? You can get upset if you want. But I feel like you just look down on everyone else that doesn't have that mentality. I feel like you're like...
I don't understand. I do understand it, actually.
Well, it's the words you use. If you want to be mediocre, if you want to be complacent, you know what I mean? It's
which I was too. I'm not discriminating. Like, I'll talk shit about myself.
I'm just saying, like, the tone that you're giving off comes across as like you're condescending towards those people that aren't trying to be better than the average person. You know?
Well... Okay, if it's coming across as condescending, it's not. It should be encouraging, actually.
That could also just be my interpretation. I'm not saying everyone. I'm not saying everyone else feels that way.
But now you got me
second guessing.
Not second guessing, aware that maybe that's how other people are taking it.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you take it that way, that's your own agenda. But that's not what I'm getting. What I'm getting at is, I wish people would all accept the fact that we're in this game together, and that you're not going to get that freedom that I think we're designed to achieve in the first place, unless we overwork ourselves. The system is designed for you to overwork to be successful. There's no way around that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be more successful than the average person, then you got to do more than the average person. So
exactly.
That makes sense. But
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so that's where, when I get forced into that, that irritates me. Because when everybody's taking their day off, I have no choice but to take the day off or do the most I can.
Yeah, but can't you know that day is going to be, if places are closed, can't you order shit ahead of time? I mean, I'm sure every time there's spontaneous shit, you can't do anything about it.
Exactly, and using Memorial Day as an example, it's a great example of how there was no flexibility for me in what needed to be done. Like, there's a pile of concrete laying there at the job site, and it can only go to the rock quarry. Mm-hmm. They're closed.
Right.
I could have probably loaded it in the truck and drove around with it, but it was way too much weight to just drive around with. It needed to go straight from the there to. So that's just an example of and I needed something from Home Depot, and they were closed. So that was a real specific incident. So,
I understand.
But it's happened more than once. Like a lot of holidays like last Christmas, I had a huge job come up, and
yeah. I mean, I understand it being upsetting for you, but imagine, that you're fine just kind of working your 9-to-5 job and being fine.
Well, I did state that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if that's where you're happy being, then I can see you looking forward to that day, as I used to when I was working 10 years at my 9-to-5 job as well.
I'm just saying, it's not like everyone else is gonna start working that day, so like the hard entrepreneur guy can go buy some shit at Home Depot. You know?
No, I get it. I get that.
I don't think we should get rid of the holidays. I understand you being annoyed at them though, and it's cool to hear your perspective. But
yeah, and I'm definitely not trying to condescend anybody. I don't think I'm better than anybody. I'm not looking down on anybody either.
well, you definitely work harder than the average person, but
I'm just saying, like, I wish more people would accept the game that we're all in, is what I'm saying.
yeah, you're like, damn it, Danny, you made me look like an asshole in this fucking podcast.
No, I don't think that, and and that's the thing. I don't care what people think, and that's actually helped me better my situation. Like, I really could give two shits less what people watching us think about me. There's a certain point where, you know, I think, you know, and when I run business, obviously I care what my image is with my business, and I'm not saying I don't care at all. There's a small sense where I do care, because I'm going to be honest with myself. But for the most part, I don't. Because if I did care, I wouldn't be where I'm at. I mean, I wouldn't have quit my job. I wouldn't have started, you know, two failed businesses prior to this one. Like, there's things I've done that people told me not to do and frowned upon many times, and so I had to block that shit out. And so it's just an interesting thing. But that's just, holidays are annoying to me because I'm not where I want to be, and those days are vital to me.
Yeah.
Like, every fucking waking hour of the day is vital to me. So it's an interesting, and I understand I'm in the small percent of people, so I'm very well aware of that, and maybe there's a lot of people who can't relate to that. So
see, even you describing your lifestyle doesn't sound fun to me. It sounds way too fucking stressful. Like, my life's already stressful, and that sounds more stressful than already what I'm doing. But, you know, that's just my perspective.
It's absolutely stressful, and but I've accepted it. That's what I have to go through, and that's what I was saying earlier. Is the shit you have to go through to get that freedom is so, it's shitty. It sucks.
Yeah, it is.
And when I think about it, that's the difference between me. I don't dwell on it, because if I do, it does get depressing. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what we're designed to do. And so dwelling on it does me no good. It doesn't better my position. As a matter of fact, it probably sets me back, because it's getting my mentality in a weak position. So that's kind of how I look at it. And I understand there's a lot of people that probably don't relate to that, because I've had to actually train my mind a little bit. So
yeah,
but it's
is our podcast like going off the air? What's going on here?
I don't know what is going on with that.
Yeah, I don't think it is, but maybe it's just Facebook is being weird. But it is saying, what did it say? Get notified when we go live next. I'm like, is it on still? It seems like it's on.
Yeah,
it is on. I don't know, man. Fucking internet. I need us to stop tripping on the internet, apparently.
But yeah, caring what people think is an interesting topic in itself. I think there's a lot of problems created from that, and a lot of unhappiness with that as well.
Yeah, I've actually, it's a good thing. I've been watching kind of these entertainers that don't really care that much about what other people think.
Yeah.
And I like them the most because they're kind of authentic. And I don't know if Gina's still here, but Gina turned me on to Grimes. Have you heard of Grimes? You know who Grimes is, right?
No. Is it a female?
Yeah, she's a female. She does like electronic music. And
yeah.
She's with Elon Musk.
She is?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, and they have a kid together. That's
wait. Okay, I'm getting it mixed up. I thought this girl was like super young.
She is kind of, well, she looks younger than she is too.
Okay, maybe I am thinking
she's like 30, but she looks like she's like
is 20. She vegan for like 20 years or something?
I don't think she was vegan for 20. She was vegan for a little bit.
Okay, that's probably who I'm thinking of. Yeah. Okay.
She's not vegan now. Well, maybe she is now just because they had the baby, but I know during her pregnancy she wasn't vegan.
Okay, I think it's the same individual I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Looks like the video's working right now.
Yeah, it's picking up. Interesting. But yeah, so Gina turned me on to that, so that was really cool. But she's just like so weird and quirky and eccentric, but like she just makes the music that she wants and she just acts how she wants, and it's just nice to see authentic people. And other artists like that. I was thinking like Meg Myers. I was showing you Meg Myers. I only showed you the one song, but she posts stuff on her Instagram and like her YouTube and stuff, and she's just like a weird eccentric person too, that I appreciate her just being herself, you know what I mean? And so I really like these artists that are just being themselves.
Yeah, and they're actually and doing what they enjoy too. So it's much easier to do that as well. They're in the creative field of it, so that's nice. Yeah, because they're not really in a business where like the traditional occupation where you have to kind of care about your image. I mean, you could probably say that you'd have to care about your image as an artist, but not really. It's your own creative thing. You know?
You should see Grimes, dude. People are like, is she like a fucking alien? She's like literally dresses like from like one of those like future movies that are like weird, and I don't even know how to explain. She does like she'll do like weird like
someone from Fifth Element or something.
Yeah, some shit like that, dude. I've seen her in interviews where she has like two braids that are going like this and shit. And she just has
crazy.
like weird makeup and
I
stuff.
can dig that. I like the unique styles, man.
Yeah.
Like
she totally looks
Lady
like one
Gaga.
of those. Yeah, it's this weird style from the future. People are like, "What the hell is happening here?"
Nice.
It's really funny that she's, or not funny, but it's just really interesting that she's with Elon Musk too, because they're just Elon Musk is also just
Another person
strange.
who doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he's himself too. So.
Really straightforward individual. Also very hard worker. Like that guy definitely has work ethic. Like a motherfucker.
Yeah. Did you hear about that today? They've finally launched astronauts from his company, SpaceX.
No.
Yeah.
I think I heard about it, but I didn't know that was today.
Yeah, it just happened today.
I know it was coming up. That's interesting.
They delayed it, and then it just happened.
Was it 2 astronauts that were going in? Yeah, I did hear about that.
I think they're in orbit around the Earth right now, and they're supposed to dock up with the International Space Station within 24 hours or something. I don't know exactly when that is, but maybe it's tomorrow, or maybe it's later, like tonight or something. I don't know when the fuck it happened, but
That's pretty exciting.
it's pretty cool.
Can you imagine what that'd be like, just floating in space. Wouldn't that be awesome? There's very few that do that, and very privileged.
I don't think I could do it because I already don't like planes, and I was thinking about it, and I think in a rocket. Getting on a rocket, dude. Like,
all the G-force.
The controlled explosion and just being in this little tiny compartment. It's
intense.
And then I think that I would get kind of homesick really quick. You know what I mean? I'd be like, can I go back down? Can you let me back down, please? Get me the fuck out of here. I don't think I'm mentally capable of being an astronaut, dude.
Hey, I don't know. I can't really say unless I was put in that position. I can say now it sounds exciting, and I would probably do it for the experience.
Yeah. Would you go to Mars?
Oh man, yes, just for the experience. But I don't know about.
It's 6 months one way.
Is it really?
Technology, yeah.
Holy shit, that's scary.
Exactly.
That's scary.
I think it takes because the radio transmissions go at the speed of light, right? I think it takes 20 minutes for the transmissions to go back and forth from Mars.
Oh really?
So if you have like catastrophic failure, you're trying to get a hold of Earth to like figure it out. You got to wait 40 minutes round trip for the message to get back to you.
Oh man,
there's no real time talking.
Damn. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess if you lay out all those factors, it sounds more unappealing.
Yeah.
It does sound cool, like, just for the visuals and that experience. Like, wow, there's just no one else that gets to experience that except them.
Yeah. If we get technology where you don't have to use rockets, that'd be probably cooler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one of those UFO technologies, just...
Yeah.
Just, all right, we're in space.
That can carry 100 people.
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, this is fine. I'm with a bunch of people. This is cool.
That would be cool. That'd be fun, too. I don't know. Let's hope we'll get there one day. Yeah. Well, we're there now. We'll get... It'll be exposed one day. Let's put it that way.
All right. What do you have next?
Dude, we got... let's see. We kind of talked about... that's kind of...
dude.
That's kind of... toxic people was one of my things I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
But I realize that can be subjective, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, toxic people can be, considered as maybe someone who's just completely negative, or someone that's not even necessarily negative, but they influence you in a wrong way, or at least a way that you don't want to be influenced.
Right. You have a specific example? You're like talking abstractly.
Yes, and the reason I did that is because I didn't want you to think I was narrow-minded. So what I meant was using, like, my position as an example, I guess, toxic people, for instance, could be someone who's convincing, someone who's, I guess, trying to implement the mediocrity and the complacency I was talking to you about, because I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one example. Or the other example would be someone who's, not using myself as an example, is someone who's just negative. Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Why are you doing, those type of people. So that's why I say there's many forms of it.
Yeah. Toxicity is very, I'm guilty of being toxic sometimes, so.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying. It's really subjective to where a person is in their life and what they want.
I think negativity grows. It's contagious as well.
But I think we could all relate that just the negative exactly that negativity just it feeds and radiates, and you can tell when someone's having a bad day. You don't enjoy being around them, and it's very apparent they're not enjoying themselves, and it kind of just feeds off. You feed off that, and you're like, oh man, I'm starting to not enjoy myself now.
Yeah. The worst is when someone's in a bad mood. You try to lift them up, can't do it, and they're still negative. That's very defeating.
That is the worst situation to be in, because especially when you're trying to reason with somebody and trying to point out some facts and why that you probably shouldn't. You're just encouraging them to think more positively, and they just can't see why or why they should think differently.
Yeah. And
yeah, you're right. It's just wasted energy.
Yeah, I usually try to improve someone's mood, but if they just keep going with it, I'm like, all right, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
That's all you can do, man. But yeah, toxic people is interesting because it can mean a lot of different things, and those are kind of the two examples. But I think we can all relate that the person who's just negative all the time, and negativity can come in tones of voice. Can just be the tone of voice. I mean, I worked with a guy for so many years that was very negative toned.
Yeah.
And it just, I didn't like it. I didn't like working with him. So I figured out a way, since I had to work with him every day, I figured out a way to kind of just block that out and just focus on trying to be positive and trying to throw positive comments at him all the time. As negative as he was, I would try to come back with a positive rebuttal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So sometimes you can turn people around.
It never did. Very rare. Okay, I take that back. Very rarely he would kind of get a little chuckle out of something that I would, throw back at him. But he was a hard guy to please and to get to be positive, basically. Yeah. So I think we can all relate. Those type of toxic people are
the worst.
The worst, and they're hard to be around, and it's just it takes a lot of energy, to be around them. You're like, oh God. Especially if they're the only person that you're around for a good period of time, it can be draining.
Yeah, especially this makes you think of relationships. Toxic relationships are literally the worst form of toxicity, with your significant other.
Absolutely. Yeah. You spend the most time with them, especially if you're living together.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of us can relate. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've all had a bad relationship at some point or another.
Yeah,
I definitely have.
I've had a few too many, so I've come to the conclusion. Well, I've already came to this conclusion a couple of years ago that I needed to work on myself. I have been working on myself for. It's been 2 years now. Is it 3 years? I'm fucking getting too old. 2 or 3 years. I don't fucking know. But
yeah. You usually invite the type of people that you're kind of portraying. So if you're positive energy, you're usually going to attract positive people. If you're negative, and it's the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's kind of how the algorithm works. It seems that's how it.
Yeah,
my observation. I've noticed it.
Yeah, I mean, I knew in some instances I was being toxic, and then other instances I wasn't. But I realized that if all my relationships are going bad, I'm the only common factor in all my relationships. So there's something or some things that I need to work on personally. So
yeah.
Just also, if you're a toxic person, it doesn't mean you're always going to be a toxic person. You can turn things around. Just
good point. Yeah,
you totally can. I've definitely been a way worse person at times in my life.
Oh yeah, we all have, man.
So
And the longer you are in it, though, the deeper you're in it, the harder it is to pull yourself out. So the sooner the better. You know, just really just do a reality check and a self inventory of what could be better, I guess. But yeah, I forgot I had something on my mind there that well, to basically dovetail on that is you're basically in any situation you are in, it's because of the decisions you've made to put yourself in there. You have the choice to be in the relationships you're in or any situation you're in.
Yeah.
And you're in that position because you put yourself there. And so that's something, I think that's something valuable to notice. Because a lot of people think they're stuck sometimes, especially in a bad relationship, maybe.
Yeah. For me personally, I'll say this because I think other people can relate to this, is a lot of my previous relationships that went bad is because I got with someone that I wasn't really compatible with because I was afraid of being alone. So I would just kind of like either look past negative aspects of their personality or like incompatibilities between the two of us, or I wouldn't know them for long enough to see their flaws, you know what I mean? And I would just jump into the relationship and then just get comfortable being in a relationship.
I can relate on that for sure.
So that's been kind of just don't do that. Respect yourself, you know?
Yeah. That's it. That's the best advice for that, actually. Just respect yourself. Learn yourself.
Yeah. You don't need someone else to fill a fucking hole, so.
So true. So true.
You feel like you do. I mean, even now, I'm like, I feel kind of lonely. I've been single for fucking, what is it, 6 months? 7 months? I don't even know. It's been like 6 months.
Yeah, I think we all crave companionship, but when you force it is when you get problems.
I'm definitely not forcing it now, so.
I think that's why I think the people, I think I was talking to you about this before, when the people say, you know, they get together with somebody for a month and then they marry him, and you notice that they're just like ecstatic about this relationship. They can't stop talking about their partner, and like that, they're like, I just know, you know, he's the one, she's the one. I can believe that, actually. I've never had that. I've never felt that. But I do believe it exists. So I think trying to force that is when you get into something bad. But I don't think there's any, I think that happens. People can fall in love really quickly because that feeling could be there that they just know.
Yeah, there's negative sides to that. So I fall in love with people really fucking quickly, really easily.
Yeah,
I guess is the problem. It's not always reciprocated, so that it can be kind of dangerous. I'm not gonna lie.
It's definitely exactly. It's got to be reciprocated. So you can tell, I think, for the most part. But then people's minds change too. People's minds change, and also in this day and age, people aren't always honest. I mean, that's always been true, but with like this online dating, people put on a mask, they put on a front, and it's hard to know what people's true motives are a lot of the time. It's the worst, yeah. Online dating is the worst because you can't, it's just a facade. It's just the image that you want to be portrayed.
Yeah. I know. I think I used to put on more of a front online, and I just don't do it anymore. So, this woman was messaging me. I think she's older than me. That's what I was like. She can't call her a girl. It's just weird. This woman was like, she said something about road trips in her profile, and then she asked me I asked her where she'd want to go on a road trip to, and she said Southeast Asia. Okay, first of all, that's not a fucking road trip. Okay, that's what I'm saying. You gotta get on a fucking plane to go to Southeast Asia from here. Okay.
You're like, technically, that's not.
I was like, I didn't say it like that, but I was like, well, if we're talking about flying, probably Europe. But I was like, if we're going on a road trip, probably California. Like, I'd like to go down the West Coast. That'd be cool. And then, so I think I turned her off by the fact of saying I wasn't into flying, you know. And then she's like, what do you feel about hiking? And I was like, I mean, hiking's all right. I'm not like a huge fan of it. I'm not a hater. I just don't really like the ones that are like over 10 miles and it's like a hot day. And she's like, I don't think it's going to be a good match. And I was like, well, you know, that's cool. Because honestly, I'd rather you say that now than we fake anything. You know what I mean? I don't want to hike for fucking 15 miles with you in the hot summer heat, dude. I just don't want to fucking do it.
If that's not your thing, that's not your thing.
I mean, I would like to go to the beach or something and go, you know, hang out, have a good time outside. That doesn't mean I want to go for a fucking 20-mile hike.
You know what's funny is like hiking is, I absolutely hate running and hiking as well, but the physical part of it. But I enjoy the scenery of it. I enjoy the mental pushing of it.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it as I'm doing it more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And so just beginning the process, I understand for me is the worst. Once I'm in it, it's like, okay, there's a goal here. Now it's much more, there's motivation here now. You know what I mean? And it kind of amplifies as we get into it.
Yeah, I don't mind it in the spring. In the summer, it's like 95 degrees. They're like, hey, you want to go walk for 15 miles? I'm like, no. No, I don't, man. Let's go to the pool.
I feel like you might be the same though. Like if someone said, let's go take a 10-mile hike, Mount Rainier, go see some sights, you know, it's not anything you've ever seen before. We're gonna see all kinds of crazy shit.
I would do it. I just don't want to do it all the time. There's people that hike, you know, they're like every free day they have, they're like, I'm going on a hike. I'm like, no. I mean,
you got way too much time on your hand then.
Yeah, you got way too much time on your hand. Also, there's other things to do besides hiking. First of all, I'm not against going on a hike. It's got to be the right hike, I guess. It's got to be the right time.
But again, you guys probably didn't even get. That's the thing with online dating is that you probably didn't even. You never even would have gotten that far in that conversation. Once she heard that, you know, you weren't into that, she's probably like, okay, yeah, this is not going to work. But with online dating, you couldn't really have like a conversation like we're having right now, where we're kind of going in depth, like what you just told me. Like you can do it every now and then, but not all the time. You know, maybe a 5 mile. You can't really get into the specifics of a conversation before someone makes a judgment really quick.
Yeah.
You got a paragraph, 2-3 lines, and their mind's made up of you.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's really tough to get a good feeling of how a person is and how they think about a subject over typing. That's the bitch of online dating.
Yeah.
Or just communicating in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easily plus there's no tone behind it.
Yeah,
there's just a lot of room for
that's also why I put the podcast in my description of my Tinder profile, because I think a lot of mannerisms and voice and all that changes how you think of someone, how you're attracted to them.
Yeah.
I don't think pictures do a good enough job, so I think if I just put that in my description, you know, I can weed out the people that are like, I like his pictures, but I hate his voice, or I hate his mannerisms, or I just don't like the way he thinks, you know, or some shit.
Pictures and messaging, those two things, it doesn't do a good job of understanding how a human actually is.
Super surface level. It doesn't show you any depth at all. So.
And I know this because I sell a lot, and so the only reason why I'm ever good at selling is because I got a better mouthpiece than I look. There's no way if you think I'm selling anything because of my looks, you're fucking out of your mind. So the only reason why I'm able to convince anybody to hand me a check while I'm standing in their house is because of the things that come out of my mouth and my mannerisms and my confidence and the tone and all these things that go with it. Yeah. You never get that out of a message. You never get that out of just a picture.
Yeah.
That's a great example of it, though.
And just a lot of people, most people will, if you send someone a message and the tone's kind of ambiguous, you don't know whether it's positive or negative. People will lean towards the negative.
That's true.
Because people are negative.
For the most part, I think so, yeah.
People, you know, if you're making a joke, but it could come across as mean, people are going to think you're being mean more often than they're going to think you're joking.
That's true. That's a good point.
Which sucks, because then you have to also...
You're on the defense always, too.
You're either on the defense, or you can't be your authentic self online, because you have to...
You're worried about that now.
You have to worry about how your tone comes across over text, and so you can't actually communicate the way you would normally communicate.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, it sucks because it makes it even harder to be authentic, because now you're worried like my authenticity is going to backfire on me. Like, no, you got to correct yourself, like, just so you don't think that this is coming from a negative point of view.
Yeah.
You know, such and such and such. And so it makes it tough, man.
Yeah, I think I definitely do better in person talking than I do over text.
We probably all do, I think, huh?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Some people can't talk and convey and be articulate. So like, you just stick to the messaging and pictures.
I will say I've done pretty good with witty remarks, though.
Okay.
I just don't do them that often.
Nice.
But they're usually pretty successful. But I try to make them kind of organic and authentic, so I don't try to do that to every single woman that I match with. Because first of all, it's a lot of work. Second of all, some of these women just don't even have anything on their profile that I can work with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What am I? I'm not a comedian. I'm just gonna like I have to. If there's no setup, I can't just make a joke. You know what I mean? There has to be a setup. You have to say something in your profile which I can like put a cool spin on. You have to have something cool in your picture that I can turn into like some type of witty joke. But if you're literally just have a bunch of selfies and then you're like here for a good time, not a long time in your there's nothing. First of all, that's hilarious. That you see that so many times, right?
Yeah.
But this is random. But just you have nothing to. You don't expect people to be fucking witty if you don't have any substance to your profile.
Yeah, if you're not contributing a lot, don't expect a lot to come back.
Yeah, these women that have no creativity expect you to be completely creative. You're like, come on.
Well, they want you to do the dog and pony show, man, and I absolutely hate that scenario. I hate being put in a competitive scenario like that.
Meet me halfway. If I have to be competitive, then you have to be competitive. You have to give me something to work with. You know what I mean? Otherwise, don't expect that much of me. You don't have to meet me halfway. Meet me 30% of the way. I'll do the other 70%. But give me something. Don't expect everything.
You gotta do the dog and pony show, man. And
that's why I've even said it to my exes in relationships. Like, you don't have to meet me halfway, but meet me part of the way. Put in a little bit of effort. You're expecting me to do this thing. You should be able to put in some amount of effort into the exact same thing that you're asking me to do.
Yeah.
I hate when people have expectations that they're not willing to do themselves.
Well, there's other people that come before you, though, in that process that have already set the tempo for their expectations.
Oh, you know for the online dating thing.
Yeah. And so it's really tough. And the common theme is that, women really don't have to put in that much effort. We're kind of they get the pick of the litter. It's kind of the social frame.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. They don't have to put in as much effort, which I mean is nice for them. Sucks for us men.
It is true, but you don't have to supplicate to that. Yeah. You absolutely don't have, and that goes back to what we were talking about. You're in the position you're in because you put yourself there. You do not have to put yourself in that competitive situation. And a matter of fact, when you state it very clear like that you're not a beggar and you're not supplicating and you're not desperate and it is what it is, I would argue that's more attractive because I've learned from, you've heard me talk about Oren Klaff. He talks about how people's mindset is they want what they can't have, they chase that which moves away from them, and they only value what they pay for. There's a lot of truth in that. And I think it's very relative to relationships as well. Not the money part, but they want what they can't have and they chase that which moves away from them is very, very true.
Yeah.
And so if you frame things in that aspect, you have more success, I think.
The thing is, every time I think about that, I end up being a little bit of a sociopath. Because I think about the psychology too much. I'm like, okay, so what I'll do, I think about it like, how can I manipulate the situation to my advantage?
Well, don't manipulate it.
I don't mean
use that in an authentic way, an honest way.
I didn't mean manipulate in a negative connotation, which manipulation does have a negative connotation. I'm just saying using the psychology to my advantage, basically. Just being like, okay, so if I act uninterested, so I would be like, okay, let me make a witty comment and then just back off. They'd be like, oh, you're so funny. You want to come hang out on Wednesday? I guess Wednesday's a bad day. You want to come hang out on Tuesday? I have nothing going on Tuesday. I'm like, a little busy that day.
Let me check my schedule. I might be able to squeeze you. Oh, no. Actually, it looks like I got something right there.
Yeah, that's in between napping and eating, so I don't know about all that.
I mean, yeah, it's not a proven thing that's going to work, but I'm just saying it's not a tactic to really necessarily use to have better success. It's more a tactic to get yourself feeling better about yourself. And because honestly, if you believe in yourself and you believe that you do have something to offer and you believe that you shouldn't be in the begging situation, you're going to think that way, which you should. Most people should. You know what I mean? No one should ever put themselves in a situation like that. It's never going to be beneficial. Yeah. You're in a position of a low status, really.
Yeah. I used to try a lot harder. I mean, in like a negative way, like you're saying. And I just...
And you can try... See, there's a balance.
That's why I said in a negative way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
basically like begging to these women, but not actually begging, but just kind of in your mannerisms. You know what I mean? Like just being too needy.
Needy,
that's the word I'm
exactly.
looking for. Not begging, literally just being too needy. Like you need this relationship to work. You want them to go on a date with you. Like you're gonna be so. Like who cares? Honestly,
Hey, really?
whatever.
I mean, because if you're going to start a relationship off like that, it's not going to be pleasant. You know, any type of relationship, not just a companion relationship,
Honestly, like
a friendship relationship, you know, any type of relationship, business relationship.
Yeah.
You start it like that, it's just not going to go well.
Honestly, yeah, it's just like if you're not willing to meet me part of the way, then I'm not really willing to put in effort.
All the effort, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not willing. I'm not willing to put in any effort if you're not going to compromise. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not going to put in 100% or 50%. I'm going to put in 50 or 0. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be
That's
the
a good
only
way to
one
think.
putting in an effort.
Yeah, that's interesting.
If you're going to put in no effort, I'm going to put in no effort, and then it's just not going to exist. So whatever.
So yeah, let's talk about something else here. Looks like we talked about
We just got into relationships for no reason.
right. That's awesome. I heard. What's your thought on this? I heard on the radio that Trump declared houses of worship essential. What do you think about that?
Houses of worship essential. Well, I don't know. Honestly, dude, if people want to go to fucking church and risk getting the virus, let them go to church and risk getting the virus, you know?
Yeah.
It's their fucking freedom. Whatever. I don't think it's a smart decision. I don't think it matters what Trump said, honestly.
I don't either. And who is he to say what's essential and what's
Exactly.
not? Like the whole power of being able to label essential and not essential is really ridiculous.
Mm.
It's
I mean, some of it is essential. Like hospitals are essential. You know what I mean?
it's the obvious stuff though. Like,
Yeah,
do
the
we
obvi-
need to even state that? You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we know. I like to think that we all know what's essential and what's not essential without having to be told.
Yeah. I don't think. How are houses of worship essential anyway? Okay, it's fine to be religious. That's fine.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
you don't need to go to a building to be religious. You don't need to go to worship.
That's
So
what I was
where in
thinking.
the fucking Bible, just for instance, in the Bible, does it say you have to go to church? Does it say that in the Bible?
I don't know.
I don't think it does.
I don't know. I mean,
I
yeah,
really-
because not everybody has access to
No.
a church or a Bible anyway. So if you can just, I'm assuming they can worship with whatever they got, which is nothing even.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to go to church, go to church. I'm just saying, I don't think it's a necessity. Even if there wasn't a pandemic, I don't think it's a necessity to be religious. I don't think it's going to make you a bad fucking person or you're going to go to hell or whatever the fuck you think is the negative outcome for your religion. I don't think that not going to a house of worship is going to make that happen.
I agree.
I think that if there is a creator of the universe, I don't think that he gives a fuck or they give a fuck or she gives a fuck, whatever. If you're going to a random building and doing whatever to please them, I think that's ridiculous.
It's silly. Yeah, that was my thoughts on it too. So when I heard him say that, it was like, why are we talking about this? And like, why is it essential? It's definitely a free will thing. Absolutely. I would never, I would never bash on anybody that wants to worship whatever their religion is, but
Yeah, I don't think it's a smart idea during the pandemic, but I mean that's their decision.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think exactly. I don't think being in social groups is probably the best thing at this point. Just to be safe. I don't really. There's so many unanswered questions still, and I mean, we don't know what it's going to do. We don't know what's going on. I mean, we talked about the protests going on. We don't know if that's going to help with the exponential growth we were talking about.
Yeah,
We don't know if that's going to help herd immunity. Maybe that's a good thing.
maybe.
Who knows? We don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe protests will speed up herd immunity process. Yeah.
Well, it will. Just hopefully.
Enough to immune everybody.
No, but more of the population will get it. More people will be immune. So, but
Yeah.
at what cost? You know.
I was gonna say, yeah, at the expense of old people and weak immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I think I was seeing Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan isn't a scientist or anything, but he was saying that he's seen someone stating that the average age for someone dying from the coronavirus is higher than the average age of the average person who dies. So, like, you know, like your life expectancy is like whatever 75 or whatever it is. I think he was saying that he's seen that the average age for dying from the coronavirus is higher than that number.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a good sign then.
Yeah, which means
Means
it's not that dangerous.
We shouldn't be changing our lifestyle.
I don't know. That's a dangerous game to be playing.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I'm not a scientist, obviously.
Should we listen to Joe Rogan on this?
I'm failing pre-calculus, so that's why I said. That's why I started that with Joe Rogan's not a scientist. I don't even know if the person he seen that from I don't know if that was from a study or what.
Okay. Well, he is smart, but
in some ways,
I don't know if in some ways. I don't know if we'll take his advice on it. We definitely look up to him as an inspiration for podcasting. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think he was giving advice. I think he was just speculating on it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's actually pretty. From what all the podcasts I've seen, he does a pretty good job of researching some stuff too.
Yeah,
and sometimes he'll drop a good amount of knowledge on some topics.
He's pretty good at also just not giving advice. He'll state his opinion on things, but he doesn't try to tell people to do things.
Yeah, as he shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't say that for Trump. Of course, I don't know if he's actually giving advice either. I think he might have. I don't know. No, maybe not. Maybe that's been kind of twisted as well. Like when he made a statement that the what was it, that chemical
hydroxychloroquine,
killed the virus, and then those people ended up drinking it or something and dying, and he's like, I didn't say to do that.
Yeah,
obviously that wasn't his fault.
Yeah, no, that was people just being stupid.
Yeah.
Apparently he's taking hydroxychloroquine though.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. But he did make some idiotic remarks. I mean, the guy's done some good and he's done some bad. But man, he's got some idiotic remarks. Like the one where he's talking about injecting a disinfectant.
Oh my god, dude. Honestly, if he wasn't a president, it'd be more funny because he's such a fucking moron, honestly. It's kind of, it's comedic. It's comical.
And the things he tweets is just
he's
idiotic.
Ridiculous, man. But it's dangerous. The position he's in, it's a little dangerous. He's not the most powerful person, even if you'd like to think he is.
I know.
But he's still in a position of power, and having someone that incompetent in a position of power is a little scary. But I've gotten kind of used to it. It's been 4 fucking years at this point, so I'm kind of.
They don't have a choice now, right?
Yeah.
Kind of accept that fact now, and roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Pray to the gods.
Yeah, whatever. I'm almost at the point of just being kind of indifferent about everything at this point. It's like the world is going to shit. I'm just like, just let whatever happens happen.
Yeah, I mean, you honestly, if you focused on all the injustices and all these things that need to be fixed and worked on, you really drive yourself nuts if that's all you ever thought about.
Yeah. Plus, the media does a bad job. It just sensationalizes everything. It makes everything way more blown out of proportion, or not really blown out of proportion, but just builds hysteria around things.
Yeah. They like to focus on the negative more than the positive, too.
Yeah.
And that's what really gets panic going. And
that's really all the news is. They focus on all the things that make people panic because that's what sells, because people click on that. You know what I mean? You have a headline that's like, people are like, holy shit, a meteorite might hit the earth in 5 days. Click that. You know what I mean? And then all the ad revenue, they make all this money.
Yeah. It's all about the numbers for them.
They're literally making money off of your fear. That's what it is.
And they're not the only ones.
Yeah. So
that's another topic for another day.
That's a huge other topic. Sorry. We'll get to that another time.
Conspiracy.
Especially, I guess we only have like 10 minutes left. Shit.
Right,
it's been a long drawn. It's like been a long podcast, but it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah. Well, we kind of spread it out. We were ranting on some
We talked about
topics there.
George Floyd and the riots for 40 minutes.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's relevant. That's what people were talking about, so we had to...
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I was really surprised when we got done with that too, because I was looking at the clock, it's like, wow, this went by fast.
I was interested to know what other people's thought process was on those things, so
Mhm.
it was nice to get some feedback on that as well. But yeah, we talked about a few cool things, you know, caring what people think, toxic people, what we're, you know, human design, things like that. You know who's capitalizing? I hear the toilet paper commercials. They are totally capitalizing,
Yeah,
and
but
they make it seem like they care so much.
we care about your butthole.
Yeah, they care. We put your butthole first. Yeah, it's funny how companies do that. They lead with how much they care, but on the back end, it's all about revenue.
Yeah.
We know this.
You should watch that Chris D'Elia fucking thing.
Yeah, we
he
should.
rants about that shit. It's so funny. Shout out to Chris D'Elia.
Toilet
It's fucking
paper or
funny.
just...
He's talking about companies. Remember I was telling you, he's talking about companies pandering during the pandemic.
Okay,
and just
yeah.
being like, in this time of need, you know?
Yeah, that's
It's
exactly
like,
what we're
shut the
talking
fuck
about.
up to sell us the fucking product, dude.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually, and what I was saying to you was that actually slows down the process, especially in a buying process. If someone's looking to buy something and you start feeding them the shit about how much you care, you actually have slowed down that process now. Like when someone's there, they're paying, they just need what you have, just give it to them and let them know you have it. And you're not going anywhere, but yeah, to build the image that you care about people, that's just horse shit. You care about your bottom line and your revenue, Charmin. We're talking about you, Charmin.
We're not gonna get any sponsors. We are like literally attacking everyone, pointing at the camera. Fuck you, Charmin.
Masks and oh god, the mask corporations. Yeah,
I mean, those are actually
they're needed,
yeah.
but the real reason is revenue.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not get it twisted. You know, they obviously care as well too, but I would argue that the real motivation is revenue.
Yeah, I mean, those companies are all selling to the hospitals and stuff, so they're super essential.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would. Yeah,
I don't know. I haven't
essential.
seen any mask commercials, so you know.
No, I haven't yet.
So it's not as bad. I don't think as like Charmin pandering. So
The Charmin, I'll listen to Pandora and I'll hear that commercial twice at least in like a 1 hour period or less.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, good lord.
Good lord.
It's like those beef commercials. Oh my god! Since we're talking about fucking misguided representation on commercials, like I get so annoyed with those beef commercials. They talk about how they care about the cows, how they care about the land, and how they're actually restoring the land. And I'm like, shut up already. Again, all you fucking care about is your bottom dollar and your revenue. And they're showing pictures of the cows, you know, they get the little automatic scratchers on their head. And like, oh yeah, we scratch their head. We treat them as part of our family. You know what I mean? Well,
Fucking
I mean,
lying.
I know.
Straight up lying.
First of all, yeah, it's all about revenue. And furthermore, I mean, I don't kill any of my family members, and I certainly don't eat them. So to make that relation is just insulting.
Also, if you're big enough to have a commercial, then you have way too many cows for every one of those fucking cows to be part of your family. There's no way. You have 5,000 cows. They're all part of your family. You hang out with all of them. You pet every cow. You know every cow's name. Fuck off.
Obviously, I have bias because I'm a plant-based eater, and I absolutely just have a disgust for that whole agriculture system. But I would have more respect for them if they just flat out said, you know, hey, you know, we got the meat that you want.
Yeah, dude, for real.
This is what we got.
You got the meat that you want, dude.
We're doing what we need to supply you this meat, and we have it.
That's my
Come get it.
That's my pickup line.
I would
How do you find my pickup line?
the meat that you want. Nice. Is that gonna be on your Tinder profile?
Yeah, dude. That's my new Tinder profile. That's the new bio, dude. That's...
Beef. It's what's for dinner.
Nailed it, dude.
Oh man. But you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
you'll get much more respect out of me with honesty. If we don't have to agree on anything, it's just being honest. Like even the people that don't eat the same way I do, I enjoy like my best friend, we used to have conversations. And I really appreciated the way, I won't name drop him, but you know who you are if you're watching this. Everybody knows who my long-term best friend is, you know. And so he's a meat eater. He's carnivore, but he was very honest with me. He's like, yeah, you know, he would state things like, you know, I'm just lazy, dude, like, you know, or whatever. You know, this is what I just like it. Tastes good, and I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to, you know, manipulate your own mind and then try to project that on why I should think that way.
Yeah, people projecting is annoying.
Yeah. So you get more respect out of me just being transparent and being honest with yourself.
Yeah, honestly,
I can see that.
It's really annoying, honestly, especially with the plant-based thing. First of all, I don't even like try to convert people to plant-based, but
nor do I.
I mean, I used to when I first started, but then I gave up on that real quick, realizing it didn't work. But I realized, dude, if someone realizes that I'm plant-based, they'll start telling me like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, I only eat meat this much and blah, blah. I'm like, I don't even fucking care. I wasn't even asking you.
I know.
Like, you don't gotta sit here and try to, because you feel bad now that you realize what I'm doing, then all of a sudden you need to try to get up to the same moral. You gotta try to get on the same moral level as me. Like, who cares? I know you eat meat. Just drop it.
Just be honest.
Like, yeah, dude.
Just, you know, if you felt like explaining yourself, the best approach is honesty. You're like, oh, okay, well, it's interesting, you know, you eat that way, and I respect that, but I don't. You know, I have my own reasons, and this is why. And
if you have to get defensive when someone isn't even attacking you, that you might want to reassess why you're being defensive.
Very good point. Exactly. Yeah. So it's just authenticity and honesty is really the two words that come to mind when we're talking about that and other topics that when people get into that caring what you think mentality. That's funny you said that, because I've had that quite a bit, where they're trying to let you know that they care. Yeah. Maybe in some way. Yeah. And it's like, yeah. And maybe in their mind they honestly think that. Yeah. But yeah. I don't know. It's not being honest with themselves in the most part. Okay. Got a sneeze coming on. Whew. I'm fighting it. Woo! That was crazy.
I almost sneezed earlier too. So Gina said, as someone who's been to large industrial farms, those commercials are a load of bullshit.
Oh yeah, absolutely, without a doubt, and they're disgusting. There's a real cool guy named James Aspey who he used to infiltrate and go into pig farm slaughterhouses and things of that nature, and they would let him go in there, and he would film the process of them getting prodded into the section where they hang them up and slit them open and go through that. Yeah. And he posts that video, no censors, nothing, and I've seen comments and stuff of people who actually been touched by that, and it's really got them thinking. And I'm like, God damn, that's just a hard thing to do though, like, because he's a hardcore vegan, you know, and he's going in there to see that firsthand. I actually showed that to Malia too, and yeah, part of me was like, you know, this is brutal to be showing a kid, but I think it's relevant. I think it needs to happen. I'm not saying parents need to do it, but for me, I think I needed to show my daughter that, because it's something I value, and it's something that she needed to understand.
Honestly, if parents can take their kids fucking hunting, then you can show your kids videos of industrial farming. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that being said, it's interesting that, you know, a hunting video is acceptable on TV, but showing slaughtered animals is not acceptable.
Yeah, it's because society wants to ignore it. You know, they don't want to feel guilty about it. So
yeah, that's one of the reasons. There's probably layered reasons.
Yeah, there's multiple reasons. That's the biggest reason. Those cognitive dissonance. They don't want to accept the reality, so they don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Hunting isn't as gruesome looking on camera.
They make it glamorous, especially with all the photos, which is funny. That's actually something me and Malia are going to be reviewing. Was a couple hunting documentaries we watched. Mm-hmm. One of them was called "Women Who Kill Lions" or "Women Who Will Hunt Lions."
Yeah, I thought
you've seen us watching part of that.
Okay, yeah.
And so the other one was trophy hunting, which is that's just disturbing. Millions of dollars being spent on that, as far as like, yeah, it's hard to explain, but they basically set it up as a game, to, you know, you try to get certain trophies to attain the $1 million prize or whatever.
Yeah.
But
well, we're actually out of time.
are we really?
Yeah.
Oh man. All right.
Isn't that crazy?
I'll save my other topics for the next episode. I did have one good one, but
It's kind of unfortunate. I'm actually really pleased with this episode.
we got deep in a very few topics instead of actually going into so many topics.
Yeah. So any topics that we might have posted that we were going to talk about today, if we didn't get to them, we'll get to them next episode for sure. Because there's always a couple of topics we don't get to, and then we end up talking about them on the next podcast. So
yeah, we'll just convert that over to the next one, and like I said, we're gonna try to work on this video with whatever's going on. I don't know if this is out of our hands or something we can work on.
It's fine now.
Sweet. So yeah, that just tells me
it was the internet.
It was the internet, and we have thunderstorms over here, so bear with us on that one.
Nothing we can do about that. So
we only get them, once a year, twice a year, maybe. So
yeah.
But yeah, this has been great. Again, thanks again to all the people who are joining the conversation. It's good to see, Mom, Milo, Gina, Edgar, Perkins. I think I seen Zach Page join a while ago. So
yeah, Zach was in the
thanks
chat.
for joining the chat and kind of just peeping out what we're talking about. And thanks to all the followers too. Like I said, we probably I imagine we hit the 2,000 mark now since we've been on the podcast. So very much appreciated. Let's keep the momentum going, and we'll keep the topics coming. And yeah, what do you want to plug our links one more time?
Yeah,
for them?
So we are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Nice pin drop. Those are the big three, and then we're going to be on. You can find us on Anchor.fm/The Virus Podcast, or I think it's just The Virus. And then, but we will soon be on Spotify as well. So look for us on there.
Nice. I'm real excited about that. And so this might actually be our first episode on Spotify, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Since we weren't recording it though, I'm gonna have to rip the audio off of the streamed video. So, I think I'll be able to do it, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next time, hopefully we'll have the Spotify dialed in if something happened on this one. But either way, we're just chipping away at this and smoothing the rough edges. So bear with us. It's getting better and better. Hopefully it's getting better and better. And if not, we appreciate all the feedback to get better. So, yeah. But yeah, that's where you can find us. Subscribe, like us. We'll see you guys later.